I'd like to thank the grace of heaven, virtues of the masters, the compassion of our grand predecessor, all transmitters, and every one of you for giving me this opportunity to learn to speak in this class on the 5 relationships. First, I want to start with the code of conduct, because in Confucianism, he doesn't really teach the worship of any particular deity, but rather he focuses on human behavior. Okay, so a lot of the scholars consider it more of a code of conduct rather than a religion. Wisdom and kindness are most important in Confucianism. And 2 of the most important concepts taught by Confucianism are the virtues of Ren and Li. Ren in Chinese is benevolence. Okay, it can be translated as goodness or humaneness. It focuses mostly on our thoughts inwardly, our compassion, our love and kindness for all sentient beings. Okay, so it is rather an attitude of the heart and mind. The other important principle taught by Confucianism is Li. Li in Chinese is propriety and ritual. It is our outward social behavior. Okay. So it includes like etiquettes, the customs, even morality, how our manners are, how we treat people, and it's an action of the benevolence in our life. The main focus is on human relationships. So there are many different types of relationship in this world, as we all know. So in Confucianism, the following are the 5 key relationships. That's ruler and subject, husband and wife, parents and children, siblings, and friends. So in all these 5 relationships, there is an authority figure, except between friends. The superior person in each relationship has the power and the right. So example, the older brother over the younger brother, the husband over the wife, the parents over the child, the ruler over the subject. Most of these relationships deals with the family. If love between family is perfect, then everything will be perfect. So between ruler and subject, this can also be translated as leaders and followers, or employer and employees. The ruler must be kind and caring to his subjects. During times of disaster, the ruler must guide, protect, and provide for the people. He must rule the nation with virtue, and in turn, the subject must be loyal and respectful to the ruler. Mutual support and kindness for each other. When the nation is ruled with virtue, the country will flourish and the subjects will be happy and harmonious. In today's society, the principle still stands between employer and employee. So there is no difference, okay, between ruler and subject and employer, employee. So in other words, employer will be kind, understanding, and considerate towards the employees. The employees will be respectful and loyal to its employers. This also means our working hours, okay? For example, when we are hired to work for the employer, our time should not be used for our personal. In other words, we don't use our regular time working hours to text message our friends or to use the company phone to make personal phone calls, okay? Because we are being paid for our work, and we should not be using the hours that we should be working to do our personal matter. Okay? So this also includes we cannot take materials from the company for our personal use. In other words, sometimes we take, they have extra pen here, so let me take some home for my personal use. So that is not okay. In other words, there's always a set of eyes looking at us. So whatever we take that doesn't belong is considered as stealing. Even things in the temple, the same meaning. Whatever is in the temple belongs to God. Whatever we take home, we must return. otherwise it is considered stealing. Okay, so Confucius believed that reciprocity, that means mutual benefit, is the one word that should be practiced for one's entire life. Confucius says, what you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. This is the same as Jesus' golden rule. Do not do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's a little confusing. It's opposite, yeah. So this principle is very clear. The difficulty is in applying it. So if a person doesn't want to do his duty and be good, but want others to do their duty and be good, then he is not faithful to himself and does not understand others. Okay. So the ruler must have the good qualities first in order to ask others to have them. The best way to figure out what not to do to others is to ask oneself if one would approve of the action or the quality in another person. An example is, if a person doesn't want others to show too much pride, then they themselves should not show such pride to others. So if one does not want others to be jealous of them, then they themselves should not be jealous of other people. Okay. Other examples are injury and greed. That means injury also includes injury by words, also suspicion, stinginess, boasting, criticism of other people. The second relationship is between husband and wife. Husband should treat the wife with respect and provides for her. The wife takes care of the husband and the family at home. So the Confucius says, the importance of the relations between husband and wife cannot be overestimated, since they are the beginning of all human relationships. For this reason, it is essential for them to exercise care from beginning to end and maintain a long period of harmony, so that they may obtain their family bliss. Confucius says, when relations between husband and wife are harmonious, the children are brought up in an atmosphere of affection and happiness, which naturally creates respect and love among brothers and sisters. Therefore, in a family in which there is mutual love and affection between those above, which are parents, below, which are children, in front, which is the elder brothers, behind, which is the younger brothers, left means the husband, and right means the wives, there is bound to be abundant unity, propriety, righteousness, and good order. A family like this is called regulated. The country must be strong and cannot be despised. Okay. Then Mencius said, right here, Mencius said, from the loving example of one family, a whole state becomes loving, and from its courtesies, the whole state becomes courteous, while from the ambition and disobedience of one man, the whole state may be led to rebellious disorder. Such is the nature of the influence. So since a family is composed basically of a husband and wife, the affairs and decision must be made by both. So internal affairs are usually decided by the wife. The external affairs of the family is usually decided by the husband. The father is usually strict to the children, and the mother is usually kind to the children. So strictness leads to wisdom, and kindness associate with affection. Then together they build a new generation that is both wise and affectionate. So even though two people are in control, a single result will be produced. The husband and the wife are merged into each other that they cannot be clearly differentiated. Confucius used the example of a lute and a harp. So a lute and a harp is a string instrument. They both make beautiful music. And when they are used together, they become a very harmonious music. And you cannot differentiate between the two. This is the difference between husband and wife. Now, in the old days, the husband would be working outside and the mother would be taking care of the affairs at home. She would clean, she would guide and teach the children, and she would cook for the family. The husband is the main role in the family. He's the decision maker and the breadwinner. Okay? So he would treat the wife with love and respect, and the wife would make sure everything and everyone at home would be in harmony. Today's world, okay, since one person working is not sufficient to support the whole family, both husband and wife are working right now. So, otherwise, the bills don't get paid. So there is equal responsibilities between the two spouses. Both the husband and wife is now responsible to bring money into the family to pay all the bills. The husband in turn is now responsible to help with all the household chores, such as cooking, cleaning, teaching, and guiding the children, because they are both working. So everything is equally shared at home now, okay? So there should be mutual love, respect, and kindness for each other. Decisions should be discussed by both, and they should both come to an agreeable decision. Now, today, husbands can no longer be chauvinistic and control the wife. In the old days, they played the main role, right? And the wife always obeyed the husband. Whatever the husband decides, whatever the husband says, the wife is afraid to voice their opinion and will always agree to it. Okay, that's how in the old days that harmony at home comes about. Today, the new generations don't accept that anymore. Okay, because now we have what? The women power, right? Women are more liberated, okay? They say, hey, I want to go out and make money too. I don't want to ask you for every penny that I want to spend, right? Even for food. So now comes the women power. And the women is now standing up for themselves. Even women are running for presidents now. See? So women have power now. So they say, why should I be doing all the housework, right? I'm making all the money outside too. I help pay the bill too. So now the household chores such as cooking, cleaning, teaching the children is all shared by the husband and wife. Okay, it's equally shared. And in return, okay, they both have love and kindness, mutual respect, and communication is the most important in today's family. The third relationship is parent and children. The parent loves, supports, teach, and guide the children. And the children must respect and obey their parents. There should be care and affection in the relationship between parent and children. The parent must take care, nourish, teach, support, and raise the children with love. The children in turn should respect and listen to the parent. This is where filial piety comes in. So for all that our parents have given the children, okay, from raising them from birth to adulthood, Holy teaches says it would take an eternity to pay back to the parents. Children should treat their parents with the same love and kindness, okay, that the parents are treating the children. Because in today's world, the parents are more filial to their children than to their parents. According to Confucius, mere support without the expression of respect and affection could not be called filial piety. So we must watch our tone of voice, our facial expressions, our conduct when we take care of our parents. And many times we get annoyed and short-tempered with them, right? So Holy teaches us one day, even when we want to listen to that annoying voice again, it will be too late. So don't get annoyed, okay? So practice filial piety every day, immediately, not later on in life, immediately. The first requirement of the regulation of family is filial piety. When we show our children that we are filial to our parents, the children in turn will naturally be filial to us. However, if we are not filial to our parents, the children will not become filial to us. So that is what goes around comes around, right? How we treat our parents is how our children will treat us. When children are treated kindly by their parents, their reaction is to be filial and obedient, right? So I was asked by several people throughout the years in the temple, what happens when the parents do not treat the children well?
You mean they abuse?
Yeah, because not every family is harmonious.
Correct.
There are some family that are twisted or dysfunctional families. Okay, so what happens when that? Okay, in situations like that, we have to know we are all in this world due to karma, each one of us. Okay, so when we are born into a family, we are either have to pay back the karma or we have to collect the karma. So if parents abuse the children, that means that the child is there to pay back the parents, and the parents are there to collect from the children. Okay. However, even though it's dysfunctional and even though the child did not get love or kindness or care from the parent, the child should still be filial to the parent, no matter how they treat them, because they are here to pay back the parent for a karma. So that is why they still have to be filial, no matter how. It's difficult, but still, if you keep that in mind, you will be happier to pay back, okay? Rather than, rather than hateful. Why should I pay them back when they treat me like this, okay? So then you can pay back the karma and you can end the karma, and the next life, if you are reborn again, hopefully we don't have to come back, but if we're reborn again, we will have loving parents instead of an abusive parent. Okay? So take, for example, two identical twins. They look exactly the same, right? However, one of the twins is very loving and caring towards the mother. She would do anything for the mother. But the mother does not love this child, okay? The other twin is not kind and loving toward the mother, but the mother would do anything for the child, okay? So why is that? Because of karma. Even though these two daughters look exactly the same, it is due to karma. Okay, so keep that in mind. So Confucius said, only a man who never forget his origin, even in the later stages of life, continues to love and be concerned about his parent, can be called a man of great filial piety. The best example was the story of the great Shan, whom Confucius and Mencius praise. So I'm going to tell you the story. King Shan was one of the 24 great filial piety stories from ancient times. Okay, so Shan was, his mother died when he was very young. His father remarried, and they had another child after they got married. So the father, the stepmother, and the stepbrother, all three of them do not treat him well. They are not kind to him, okay? So he is, with a dysfunctional family because they don't love him. However, no matter how they treat him, he still takes good care of them when they are sick. Okay? He still obeys them whatever assignments that he was told to do. He doesn't hold any grudges. So one day, his mother said to him, you go and work out in the field unless you finish scattering all the seeds in the field, you cannot come home. Okay? So he went and worked, and then he was worried because he still have a lot of seeds to sow, and the sky got dark and starts to rain. So he was so worried. How am I going to go home? That his mother will scold him. So then all of a sudden, a gust of wind came, and right in front of him appear elephants and birds. Okay, the elephants are there to help him cultivate the land, and the birds are there to help him sow the seeds. Okay, so this is to show you, because of his filial piety, it moved God, and God sent the elephant and the birds to help him. Okay, so the story was spread far and wide, and Shun was praised for his filial piety towards his parents. King Yao also heard of him, and he was greatly moved. So he agreed to let 2 of his daughters, which are princesses, to marry him. So here he got princesses and wealth, okay, because of his filial piety. However, he never forgot his parents or his stepbrother. His feelings toward them are still loving, respectful, and kindness. So he never forgot about them. So he and his 2 princesses went to pay them a visit, and and the king gave him gold and silver and jewels to take back to his family. So Shun built a palace in his hometown and invited his parents and stepbrothers to live with him. No matter how he treated his family, his parents and stepbrother never changed their attitudes toward him. So one day, they tricked him into going down into the well. And after he went down, they put a big rock and covered the top of the well so he cannot come out. So they are hoping by doing that, they can kill him and take all his fortune and split it among the 3 of them. Okay, that's what their wishes were. However, Shun found a way out at the end of the well, okay, and came out of the well. So the parents and the stepbrother was shocked, I thought we killed him, but he's still alive, right? So no matter how they treat him, he never holds a grudge, and his attitude towards them are still love, caring, and respect. Okay, so this is to show you, okay, how filial Shun can be, and this is an example how his parents and family treat him, and he in turn never holds a grudge against them or have any hatred towards them. Okay, so his family finally realized that they have been wrong in treating him. So after the death of King Yao, he was ascended to the throne and adopted the name Yu for his kingdom. The people addressed him as King Shun, and under his rule, the nation enjoyed prosperity, and the people all live a life of plentifulness. Okay, so this is an example. So if we are in an abusive family, use him as our role model. Okay, so because of his great virtue, having protected, blessed, and decreed him the throne. Therefore, those that have great virtue will sure to receive heaven's love. Okay. Confucius said, Shun was indeed perfectly filial. Even when he was 50, he was full of longing desire about his parents. Now, Confucius said, we should not forget the past nor indifferent to the future. This is the same attitude of children toward their deceased parents. Okay, so it is said when parents are alive, they should be served according to propriety. When they are dead, they should be buried according to propriety, and they should be sacrificed to according to propriety. This is called filial piety. So Confucius says it is never right for children to expose the faults of their parents publicly. just as it is always wrong for the parents to do nothing but reproach their children for their mistakes. This would be neither filial piety on one side nor parental kindness on the other. So in other words, we as children, we should never tell publicly, okay, the faults of our parents. Okay. So even if our parents are abusive to us, we should never publicly tell anybody. Just keep it inside. At the same time, we should never criticize our children for their mistakes. And if we do either, then it is considered as unfilial and unkind as a parent to a child. Confucius said that if a person is unfilial to his own parents and expect his children to be filial, then it will never happen because it's against the principle. One must have the good quality in order to expect it from others. Filial piety is passed from generation to generation. If the children see that the parents are filial to their grandparents, then they also will be filial to us. So that this also means that a person cannot have the bad qualities and then expect others to not have them. Okay? So you have to show it and manifest before you can expect that of other people. Confucius says parents will always be concerned about their children. They love and protect them in every aspect. As children, it is part of filial piety to take care of one's own health, so the parents do not worry because that will give them the greatest anxiety. So our parents will worry about us, whether from childhood days or even into adulthood. Even when we are 70 years old and they are 100 years old, they will still be worried about our health. Okay, so we must first take care of our own health, make sure we eat well, sleep well, do everything possible to take care of ourselves, and this way we will relieve their anxiety in worrying about us. Confucius said, in short, filial piety towards one's parents while they are living should include not only love, but also reverence, not only material support, but spiritual consolation. The eliminations of all bad habits, as not to affect one's parents as a result of one's own humiliation or injury. Example would be what Transmitter Ray said earlier, alcoholic drinking or taking intoxicants such as drugs, okay? And this is like poison to our body. Also, care of one's own health so as not to cause one's parents any anxiety. Remonstrance to parents with gentleness if there is disagreement with them. So if we have to argue with our parents, it's okay to argue, but argue with gentleness, not like force or hurtful words. Okay, try to learn to be gentle in our arguments. Okay, so after the death of one's parents, they should be buried with propriety and served as if they were alive. So this is what Confucius said is the highest form of filial piety. The importance attached to burial and sacrifices is based on the same principle. It is a reminder that one should not forget one's origin or the favors one has received, and that affection does not live and die with the body because it is external and inexhaustible. So in ancient times, the period of mourning for parents was set at 3 years. 3 years. Why 3 years? It is probably because there is a statement, Confucius had a statement that it is not till a child is 3 years old that it leaves the arms of its parents. That is why it's 3 years. So what Confucius meant when he said to serve the parents after death as if they were alive is that we must remember those who remember and respect those of our parents and grandparents, okay, because they gave us life, right? So even if they pass on, we still must remember them such as on their birthday, anniversaries of their birthday, anniversaries of their death days, okay? Any special holidays like New Year's Day, okay? We should do offerings to them, okay? That is how the ancient Chinese people do it. I do it, okay? I still do it. Because my mom set up a ancestor altar in my home, and my mom was very filial, so she did all the offerings when she was still alive. So when she left, she thinks that I would not do it. So she thinks, oh, when I'm gone, this is not going to be taken care of anymore. So I always remember that. So even though now my parents are gone, I may not do as a good job, but I try to still follow the propriety that I have seen her do. Okay, so this is how we remember the people that we love that is no longer here. This is also part of filial piety. However, Confucius says, if a son did not serve his parents according to propriety while they were alive, and he tries to make it up for it by offering sacrifices according to propriety after their death, it is nothing but an empty formal gesture without substance. So it is not a remedy for the neglect of filial piety. So in other words, I don't think I put that in the outline. So in other words, when we respect those that passed on, it is not to make up for when we were alive and when they were alive and we were not respectful or filial to them. Okay, so even though we try to make up for it with all the rituals, it's not going to work. Okay, so it must work while they are alive and while they are already gone. So filial piety includes respect and love. Parents never require the children to be filial, but it should be a natural instinct, okay, to express it. It is a manifestation of benevolence and doesn't involve any obligations. As a result, a person who has affection to one's parents will also have benevolence to the people and love to all things. The fourth relationship, siblings. There should be proper order among siblings. The older sibling should take care of the younger sibling and be a good role model for them. The younger sibling should respect the older sibling and follow their examples. They should take care of each other, and love among siblings is also considered as being filial to our parents. For example, if all the children do not get along and are constantly fighting, okay, even into adult age, think of how our parents would feel. They would be heartbroken, okay? And think about when there is family gatherings. Is everybody gonna show up? Even if they show up, is everybody gonna have a good time? Because there will be siblings that will be attacking each other, okay? So for siblings to get along is considered being filial to our parents, okay? And when everybody gets along, and at the same time, if they don't get along, the parents would blame themselves, okay? Because they will blame themselves for not raising them properly. Okay? They will blame themselves that their children are constantly attacking each other. So they will be full of anxiety and worries. Okay? So that is why it is very important that siblings get along. So as parents, it will give them great joy to see and know that all their children are in harmony with each other, okay? And there will be lots of family gatherings, okay? And the family will all get along. The whole family will be in peace and harmony, okay? So that is how important siblings get along with each other. So if we do have this problem in the family, we must first take the initiative to go and apologize, okay? To be the first one to apologize, even though if it's not our mistake, even though mistake is on the other sibling, it doesn't hurt to apologize, just to make peace in the family, okay? So it's okay to be blamed for it. It's okay to take the blame for whatever caused that conflict between the two of you, okay? And it will also, if you make peace, it will also be less of a burden on our own body. It's like lifting a big rock off our shoulder, okay? Because now you are making peace with the other person, okay? So, and also keep in mind when you do that, okay, and you get blamed for it, even though it's not your fault, that is also a great virtue on your end, to make the apology and to take the blame for whatever caused the not getting along. Okay, so always take the first initiative. Fraternal love is not only within siblings in our family, it is also fraternal love to all sentient beings. That's like everyone here, everyone outside. We're all brothers and sisters. We all have the same Buddha nature. So that also is fraternal love. Okay? And we all came from God. The fifth relationship is between friends. There should be trust among friends. And it is very important to understand the relationship between friends. Okay? So Confucius says, the objective of forming friendship is to help practice virtue. In other words, it is necessary to have friends in order to be mutually helpful in making possible virtuous conduct. The method is to meet with friends on grounds of culture. Yes? Huh? Oh, 5 minutes. Oh, okay. The second is the attitude and responsibility toward friends. Respect should be maintained between friends. Confucius says, when a friend has fault, he should be advised in a proper but gentle manner and to rectify it. Tell them gently and discreetly, never in front of other people, because it's an embarrassment, okay? And they will have anger towards us or resentment towards us. So Mencius says, if a friend's advice is accepted and followed superficially, but the fault is not corrected, then it shows a lack of sincerity. Then nothing further can be done. Okay. Friendly advice cannot be given too frequently, or we will result in resentment. And Confucius says, friends from afar bring new knowledge and can be of assistance to one, both intellectually and morally. This provides great delight in human life. This was one of the first things he mentioned in his 4 books, the Analect. Confucius said, we must ask ourselves what we can do for our friends before we can expect them to do anything for us. Friendship implies mutual assistance. Okay? When a man is in distress, what he needs most is sympathy and benevolence. When a man is wrong, incapable of meeting a situation, what he needs most is justice and support righteousness. When a man has a conflict of interest with others and cannot settle the dispute, what he needs most is the respect of others' interest and mutual concession, propriety, the feeling of respect and the feeling of modesty. When a man has an insoluble problem, what he needs most is full justification for himself and fairness for others. Wisdom, the feeling of right and wrong. So benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom are inherent in the nature of everyone. So it is unnecessary for men to seek them externally, rather they can be obtained by seeking inwardly. A faithful friend should take care of the burial of one who dies if he has no other family. So in other words, if we have a good friend that was close to us and he passed away and he has no one else, no family, nobody to take care of his burial, we as his faithful friend should take care of that for him. That's what Confucius says. Number 3 is how to make friends. Confucius says, to form advantageous friendship, one must be good. Otherwise, those whom one like to take as one's friend might not react the same way. Only the superior man can tolerate those not equal to him. And this is why he is so rare and highly prized. So when we are good, we will give out positive energy. And it will be natural to attract others that will want to become our friends. And number 4, what friends should be sought and which should be avoided. So Confucius says, have friends, have no friends not equal to yourself. So we should seek friends that will excel in virtue and learning, so we can learn from them. Okay. So it is advantageous to associate with friends who are upright, sincere, and observant. On the other hand, it is obviously not one's advantage to associate with friends who are fake, devious, and glib-tongued. Okay, since fine words and insinuating appearance are seldom associated with true virtue. So we look for friends that will have a positive effect on us, because friends that are not upright, that are not virtuous, they can have a very bad influence in us. Okay. So Confucius says, those who are like-minded naturally go together. That is why we can often judge from the virtue of a friend the character of men with whom he associates. So I always remember Holy Teacher said in one of the New York Dharma class, the type of people we associate with or we become friends with is the same type of people that we ourselves are, because that's the kind of people we attract. Okay? So if another man's fundamental faith is different from one's own, one should not go way out of one's way to make plans with him. Okay? So Mencius says, friendship should be maintained without any intentions. Friendship with a person is friendship with his virtue, not for any type of motive for personal gain or benefit. What is most harmful to friendship is for personal benefit. Anyone who is merely interested in the use of the friendship is not a true friend. Okay, so if you know someone that is out to gain something from us, then that is not a true friend. Holy Teacher says to stay with people with positive mindset and to stay away from those with negative attitude. For example, if we are in the Tao and there are groups of people that is totally against the Tao and says negative comments about it, stay away from them, because they will have bad effect on us. And also people that are non-vegetarians, okay, it's okay if they don't comment and criticize us, nor to make fun of us, nor to try to persuade us to become a meat eater again. But if you have friends like that, stay away from them, okay? Because that's not a true friend. Conclusion. If everyone can follow Confucius' 2 major principles of Ren, which is benevolence, and Li, which is propriety, then it is without any doubt that the 5 relationships will be in harmony. Okay, so we can follow these 2 virtues. It's natural the 5 relationships will be in harmony. The English meaning for Li is the way things should be done. So in Li, one must be aware of the way one should act and function within a society. One can best cultivate their character by understanding what Li entails. It encompasses, most importantly, the doctrine of the mean and the 5 relationships. Okay, the doctrine of the mean, like Transmitter Ray said earlier, is the way in which one should make decision in life, in which the best decision is always the middle between unworkable extremes. Always take the middle path. Taking the middle road, as Confucius said, would guide one to the way things should be done. Okay. So with these constant relationship guidelines, Li sets up a hierarchy between the 2 people and terms the accepted responses and actions between them. Social harmony resides in part from every individual knowing his or her place in the natural order and playing his or her part well. Reciprocity or responsibility extends beyond filial piety and involves the entire network of social relations, even the respect for rulers. So when the Duke Jing of Qi asks about government, by which he meant proper administration so as to bring social harmony, Confucius replied. There is government when the prince is prince and the minister is minister, when the father is father and the son is son. So in other words, if everyone plays out her or her part well, then naturally everything will be in order and will be in harmony. And in its ideal sense, a person honoringly, therefore, will be perfect in all his relationships. Okay? That's it. Thank you. And if I said anything wrong, I ask the Buddhas for their forgiveness and your corrections. Thank you.